Good morning, good morning. So great to be here with you for another edition of the Thought Leaders Business Lab live edition. I'm here today with Winnie Anderson and we're going to have a great chat and I'll introduce her in just a second. But as you join us, please say hi. Let us know where you're from. It's Wednesday morning here, just as we were discussing. It's dinner time over there on Tuesday for Winnie. We're in the future. And the future here in Sydney is beautiful today. It's a beautiful morning here in Sydney. But for those that don't know me, I'm Samantha Riley. I am host of the Thought Leaders Business Lab podcast and the Thought Leaders Business Lab Live edition. And I am the creator of Black Diamond, the advanced program for getting more income, more freedom, and more impact in your business. But it's not about me today. We're talking about introverts today, which I've just said to Winnie, this is a great topic because I am not an introvert. So it's great to have someone giving us a bit of a different perspective. But Winnie is a courageous action coach, helping mission-driven, passionate introverts develop the courage, confidence, and clarity they need to get their message out in a powerful way and make the impact and income they dream of and deserve. So welcome to the show, Winnie. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here.
Super exciting. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you have ended up here working with introverts? What's a little bit of your backstory, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Well, let's see. How long do we have?
Let's do the Cliff Notes version.
The first third of my career was spent in human resources, in staffing, organizational development, and corporate training, organizational training. And I felt some pull in my heart. So I left my corporate job and wound up at the Red Cross and started to work in emergency services when I was in a car accident. And I was literally knocked out of work. I was the director of human resources at that time there. And the accident just completely wiped me out. And so it's a very lengthy recovery. My primary injury is to my brain. I have a traumatic brain injury, and I had to reinvent myself. So the one thing that was not injured was my ability to communicate. I could still teach, I could still talk, and I could still write. And that's what I did. And I was discovered, if you will, by the owner of a boutique brand agency. And he brought me in as his brand strategist and copywriter. So that was how I started to get involved in marketing, just threw myself in learning everything about marketing. And it's really a lot like organizational development. So I created sales kits, web pages, all kinds of tools to help people get their message out and sell. And like many people, at the crash in 2008, lost my job. The agency nearly went under, and I had to reinvent myself all over again. And I thought, no problem. I sell for a living, right? I write sales copy. I've sold millions of dollars literally for people. This not a problem. I couldn't sell my way out of a paper bag.
Isn't that interesting?
If my life had depended on it, I couldn't have gotten a cookie. I mean, I was really in trouble. So I would get clients just by referrals, people I had written for at the agency. And what I discovered was that the strategies that I had used to survive corporate life and abusive bosses and the abusive home life that I grew up in were now actively holding me back out on my own. And there's an old saying that being self-employed is the most difficult self-development program you'll ever be in. And
100%.
Yeah, you come face to face with your own crap, right? So that's really what happened.
So eloquently said. You really do, don't you? Yeah. And we were having a little chat before we came on and saying it's so much easier to sell when you're doing it for someone else. But all of a sudden when you're selling yourself, all that crap that you were talking about comes up and it comes to the surface because we might be having a bad day and thinking, wow, I'm not good enough today. Bit hard to sell yourself if you don't have a belief in what you're selling.
Right. Because there's this, very well, there's this image that you have to sell, right, of confidence, and you have to take risks. And in corporate life, you were taking risks, speaking up at a meeting or presenting some big idea to your boss. But that you knew that landscape really well. And you took calculated risks really well. But everything is so brand new when you're out on your own. And you do, I think, feel very exposed that it's really about me, not about the service that I provide or the people I help. And it's easy to get really tangled up in all of that. And things like perfectionism, procrastination, self-doubt. Who am I? I don't know about you, but I've worked for my share of really abusive bosses. And then I grew up in an abusive home life. So I brought all of that, you're not good enough, just right into my own business. And it was really a mess.
Yeah, totally. And and it's easier when you're making a decision using someone else's money and you're making a decision when it's your own bank account. Big difference. I've had people say to me, oh, I've looked after billions of dollars of accounts. And I went, yeah, where you had a budget and when you could go get your own stationery and when you didn't have to worry about if I make this decision that month, I might not be able to pay the rent. You come back and talk to me when you've done it on your own with your own bank account.
Yeah. And you try hard to be abundant, right? But I'm going to spend this money. Am I going to get it to come back to me? And, there's an awful lot of trust in there and faith in yourself as well as in the universe. And it's scary when you're writing that check. Yeah.
Absolutely it is. So we're talking today about introverts. What you talk about passionate introverts. What is a passionate introvert and how are they different from traditional introverts?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a passionate introvert, I got that phrase from a TED Talk, actually, that I was watching. And I thought, oh, my God, that just so perfectly describes people like me and other people I know who really are introverts. So a passionate introvert is somebody who still has the same big markers of introversion, meaning their energy is really drawn from within and they need a lot of alone time to rejuvenate, recuperate, process their thinking. Introversion is actually, it's how we're wired. It's truly how we're different. But a passionate introvert is somebody who is so driven and so in love with their message and with the mission that they're on that they are willing to put themselves out there and can actually mislead some people into thinking, oh, that person's an extrovert. When in reality, it's just that we can talk for hours about our core subject area that we love so much.
Yeah, I love that distinction there. So passionate introverts, so they're really tapping into their why, aren't they?
Yes. And they're so in love with the idea of making this positive change that they're willing to push past their own discomfort because they're committed to making a difference. Whether it's teaching or writing or whatever it is, they're going to put themselves out there and take that risk because they love it so much and they want so much to make a difference.
Love it. So those people, they're passionate, they've put themselves out there. Generally at the beginning, it's a little bit easier. As it goes on, they're starting to think, this is actually like really hard for me. And people start to really struggle. So why do you think that, I've just sort of covered it off a little bit, but why do you think people struggle to achieve the success, when they first went out on their own?
Yeah, I think that it is, and that's a great question. There's this 2-step forward, 2-step back dance that can happen where you take that chance, but then you start to get, and I'm sure this happened to you, as you start to build a reputation, a hater appears on the horizon, right? Oh my God. And because there's nobody really around you, there's no buffer, the business, the brand is you, this kind of negative feedback can really be hurtful.
Yes.
And that can be a setback too. Also, then when, there's this issue of traditional selling, right? That the old school pushing and that sort of thing. And it can be easy to feel like that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because you're supposed to be closing the sale and you're supposed to be persuading and overcoming objections.
Yep.
So introverts and passionate introverts, they really need to honor who they are, and they need to find a different way to invite the sale rather than close the sale and pursue it. So there needs to be this blend of the courage to take the action, but then also honoring who you are as a person. It doesn't mean that you get a pass for taking risk. It doesn't mean that you get a pass for selling, but it means that you need to find a different strategy that is going to honor your personality at its core, yet still present your core message in a way that's compelling for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have got 8 courageous actions that entrepreneurs need to engage in on a daily basis. Are you able to take us through those actions? Because I feel that they would be super helpful for a lot of people that are watching.
Yeah, when you really look at this and say, this is how you should be spending your day. And we know very well, right? We were chatting earlier how some days are really super crazy and maybe you can't squeeze in every one of these actions, but certainly during a week, there needs to be a balance among them. And actually, they really need to be skewed. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to skew it. So I promise no hiding any magic information. So courageous action in general, there are 8 of them, and I'm just going to run through them and then I'll touch on them just briefly. So number 1 is marketing, right? No surprise there. You've got to get your message out. And if you're an introverted person, marketing becomes even more important because you want to attract people to you, right? So marketing is absolutely number 1. And then number 2 is the dreaded selling.
Well, if we don't sell, we don't have a business. It's that simple.
That's it. That's exactly it. So the introvert has to call on their influencing skills to be able to close sales, and also to recognize that sales is a set of activities that start with marketing. So marketing is always first. Next comes selling. Next comes fulfilling, right? Because now you got the clients, you got to deliver on the promise that you made, right? And most of us, it's fulfilling. That's what we actually started to do. That's what we wanted to do when we started our business, because we love it, right?
Yes.
So we want to spend all of our time doing it, but we have to do this other stuff too. So marketing, selling, fulfilling. Next is creating. Now, if you hate marketing and selling, you're going to probably hide in creating, right?
Yes.
I could write all day. I could be on video all day, right? But marketing and selling makes me a little bit nervous. So marketing, selling, fulfilling, creating. Next is managing, right? Because we've got to create structure in our business. You have a team yourself.
Yes.
So having those processes is really important for profitability, right?
Yeah. And not only that, but creating those structures gives us freedom.
It really does.
I know that's a whole nother topic, but I just wanted to touch on that really quickly, because freedom comes from systems, structure, processes.
It does. And for those of us who are introverts and who came from corporate life, that's part of what we want to escape from, right?
Yes.
Is all that. So we've got to find that happy medium, but it really is what sets you free and what really maximizes profitability.
Yeah.
Next is your specialty, leading. Right? Because you've got to be a leader to your audience, and you've got to be a leader in your industry segment, and you've got to step out, get your message out, and accept that role as the leader in your profession and to your audience.
Love it.
Then comes growing, right? Here's where we can get trapped too. I love learning. Always have. I learned to read before I was 3. I love learning, and I could spend all day watching webinars, right? So, but that can be a hiding place.
It can.
And what we really need to work on are growing in the skills that are going to help our business advance.
Yeah.
Financial management, communicating our message, right? Structuring an offer. So
Totally.
not learning HTML, not learning how to create a WordPress website, right? Stop
exactly.
that.
One of my mentors, Taki Moore, actually said to me, we want to embrace just in time learning, not just in case learning, because we just want to be learning what we need to be able to take the next step right now.
Right. That's exactly, that is so well said. And the danger here is that because we probably do love learning and we believe that, oh, I'm not quite good enough. Right. So if I get one more certification, if I take one more course, you're fabulous as you are. You're going to continue to evolve as an expert, but don't pursue things like that because you're trying to convince yourself that you're good enough. You already are good enough.
Love it. Love it.
And then last, but by no means least, is living. This is really what we built. It's why we're out on our own, right? Because we want to actually have a life and have a business and have both in abundance. But it can be really easy for us to schedule our lives in such a way that we're working all the time. And then when we're with our family, we feel like, oh, I really should be doing that thing. And then when we're at work, we're thinking, oh, I should really be with my family. Or we feel resentful sometimes because I got to go to that family thing.
Yes.
There's nothing more precious than that time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember seeing, it was Shonda Rhimes actually gave a speech saying that we're going to be pulls in all those different directions. And really, we just need to make sure that when we're in that place, that we are in that place. Right. If we're with the kids, we're just with the kids, not thinking I should be here, I should be there. But then it works the same in reverse. When you're at work thinking, this is where I am and I'm 100% in work mode, not thinking I should be with the kids. Right. You know, and that was, it was really powerful for me because I'm sure I'm not the only person that thinks I should be doing that other thing. Right. And just to go, we've got, 50 plates as busy people, as parents, as business owners, as all the things, there's friends and life. Just wherever we are, that's where we are, 100% focused on doing that, and it will all come together.
Yeah, amen. And the other big piece of that I include under living is self-care.
Oh, yes, 100%.
I suck at self-care. It's my ongoing effort to really take good care of myself. But it's, put the mask on yourself first, right? You've got to take care of yourself or you just have nothing to give. So absolutely. Always make sure that every single day you're budgeting, I don't care how many minutes it is, make sure you're doing something to take good care of yourself. And for me, that also includes compassion.
Yes.
Give yourself a break.
Yes.
Right? You're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So give yourself a break. Okay, so you made a mistake. You're not stupid.
It's all a learning. It's all a learning.
It is. It's all data. And that, I think, being able to detach from the outcome, for me, is really the foundation of really being courageous. Recognizing that your self-image is not connected to the deal that you did or didn't get. It's not connected to, how high your website ranks in the search engines. That's not where your self-worth comes from.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we can work on truly seeing our business as our business, and I love it and I want it to be wildly successful, but my husband's going to love me anyway. My sisters are always going to love me. So we need to learn to love ourselves and not make it contingent upon some success that we're trying to achieve.
100%. All right, I'd love to dive into these first two areas, marketing and selling, because I think as well, as I said, I'm not an introvert, but I find that with the introvert, I have a lot of clients that are introverts, and they do get quite bogged down in fulfilling and creating and managing. And like you said, marketing and selling are the first two pieces of our business that we really have to be focusing on all the time, 100% of the time. We can't drop the ball here. So what tips can you give us? Let's start off in the marketing. What are some tips that you can give the introverts that are watching around marketing? I mean, that's a pretty broad question, but I'm sure you'll nail this.
So the biggest way to get over this is to stay anchored in your passion, right? And I think of marketing and selling, it really involves just 4 steps. Educate, share great, useful information. When you do that, you elevate yourself. So educate, absolutely. Elevate, inspire, help people recognize the possibilities if they step out and they take that chance of working with you, they buy your book, they take this course. So educate people about their problem, the options for solving it. In doing that, you elevate yourself in their eyes as a trusted leader and solution provider. Inspire them to see what's possible for them, and then just invite them to take the next step. That's all selling really is. The word sell, S-E-L-L, actually comes from like the Middle Ages, and the word was originally sellan, S-E-L-L-A-N, and that word means to give.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. That is very cool.
Yeah, because economy really started out as a barter economy, right? You come and fix my fence and I bake you some pies in exchange, right? Well, eventually you got enough pie. So that's where money got involved. So that's where money got involved. So really, if we can get ourselves back to that origin of the word, because that's really what's going to connect with our true inner selves, our introvert nature. We're really givers. So if we can focus on educating, and then that positions us as the leader and the solution provider. And all you're doing is just inviting somebody to take that next step, whatever that next step may. It might be to download this, this checklist or this resource. It might be to join my group. It might be to take a course. So you're not selling, you're offering them an opportunity to continue to grow. And when people say no to you, I look at it as that's where they are on their journey. Not that I can't get better at communicating my offer. Absolutely. But a lot of times, and I know this is true, people are saying no to the opportunity you're offering them to change their lives. And they're scared.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there, 100%. And I love the educate, elevate, inspire, invite, those 4 levels, because I think that educate piece, that very, very first piece is really important. And I talk about it a lot myself, is that you need to educate people what it is that you do, what it is that their problem is, and how you can help them fix that problem. If you're not educating them, they might not even realize they have the problem. They might not understand that you're the person that can help them fix it. And it's through that education process that we are, you say elevate, it is positioning you to where you are in the marketplace.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I share one really even bigger secret with your audience?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. So this is what one of my mentors would say. This is a writer downer. So, I shared this with a client I worked all half day with. So if you can use these concepts, you can create a message that is so powerful, and you can repurpose this message in every format you use. All right. So here we go. First of all, you want to articulate the problem.
Yep.
Next, the impact of that problem. Explain that. Next, talk about the general solution, the average solution that's out there that most people are going to fall back on, or what the common, recommended solution is.
Yep.
Then you're going to talk about why that really doesn't work. and who it doesn't work for.
Ah, I like that last little bit.
And then you're going to talk about your specific solution. That's
Beautiful. So articulating the problem that your prospect or your ideal client has, the impact of that problem in their life, if they continue to allow it to linger, the average solution that's out there in the marketplace, why that doesn't work, and specifically who it doesn't work for, and your special sauce.
Yep. That's
Love it.
That's it.
So good. So good.
So you can build any message around that. You can use that as an outline for an article. You can use it as an outline for, maybe you have an opportunity to give a little bit longer introduction, right? You're at some event and they usually give you 30 seconds to a minute. When you really nail that, you can get that down to about 45 seconds to 60 seconds.
Yes.
And you will be instantly compelling because nobody else talks that way.
Yes. I use this framework, I guess, not used in those words, but I use it when I connect with people on LinkedIn because it helps them understand straight away what I do and the kinds of people that I work with. So it's just, if I'm on a call, this is, and people say, well, what do you do? I actually use that framework.
Awesome.
Yeah, really good. So you can use it for emails, blog posts, video.
And this takes the pressure off of you, right? Because you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem I solve.
Yes. And then you're just giving. You're just giving the solution to the problem.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that instead of focusing on, I need to do that sale because I need X amount of dollars, instead I'm giving a solution to someone that I actually care about. There's a whole difference in energy, in the way you're perceiving the situation. You're able to show up just authentically rather than that weird sales mode that I'm sure that we've all been in at some stage, and you're like, who am I right now? I don't know who I am.
Right. Yeah. And I think the biggest fear that we have around sales and selling and marketing is we don't want to be that guy. Yeah. Whoever that guy is, right? The used car salesman, that's the stereotype here.
Used car salesman with the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Right. Or for us, at least here, it's the cell phone store. They treat you like you're stupid.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be that guy. So in that case, focus on problem, impact, general solution, why that doesn't work, and your specific solution. And you're really helping somebody. Yes. Even if they decide to keep going and not work with you, you have really given them valuable information, and that karma is going to build up, and you're going to keep getting better at getting your message out too. So
yes, and adding that last step of inviting them to take the next step. Don't just articulate the problem and talk about the problem and how you're going to solve it, and not invite them to take the next step, because that's the piece that a lot of people miss.
Yeah, and it's really kind of mean when you think about it.
Yeah,
right?
I call it turning out the lights. Yeah, you're just turning out the lights.
Yeah. I've got a secret, but I'm not going to tell you. So by saying, and all it is do you want to learn more about that? So if I have this program that I saw, boom, do you want to learn? Do you want to hear more about it? And if somebody says no, okay, most people are going to say sure, just because they think they're being polite. And then all you're doing is it's just a variation of these components, and you're just talking about the problem, the impact, etc. It's just the specific solution. So the more you can focus on giving and really being helpful, then that's going to take that pressure off of you, and you're going to feel more yourself, more in alignment.
Love it. It feels so lovely. Now, you do have a podcast. I'm guessing that where you talk a lot about these things. So you can find Winnie's podcast at thecouragepodcast.com. And you've also got a Facebook group. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Winnie?
I do. That Facebook group is for passionate introverts. And in that group, we share all kinds of great resources and information. I come in and do little mini trainings and really focus on how we can really get in touch with this educating, elevating, inspiring, inviting, and getting past the natural inclination we have to hide and I'll just write and send out blog posts and things like that, and really take those brave steps to create the outcome that we want.
Perfect. So that's winnieanderson.com/join the group to join Winnie's Passionate Introverts. I nearly said passionate entrepreneurs. I don't know. I'm reading it and I still said the wrong word. Passionate introverts. Oh, thank you so much, Winnie, for sharing that. I really, really loved what you talked about. And I think that it's even for extroverts, there was so much value there. But I can see how that just gives so much ease to introverts to take away that ickiness of marketing and selling and say it's actually this easy. So I love that. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone that's joined us. Thank you, Leonie. Glad that you've enjoyed it. If you're watching the replay, just let us know below. Put replay in the comments. And if you've got any questions, please ask. And I'm sure Winnie will be hanging around and answer any questions that you've got. Thanks for joining me this morning on my side of the world, at dinner time on your side of the world, Winnie. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me be here.